Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from asortofinterestinglife.com and you're joining me as always on board good old Narrowboat Tilly today, and we're going to have a chat about a practical joke I pulled way back in 2002, and what's more than that, I've actually got the original letter that I sent my granddad from 2002. This is a bit of Dan Brown history that we've got here from, I mean, how crazy is that? That's 13 years ago, that's almost half of my life ago. Now, before we actually get to see what's in here, let's just have a general chat and set the scene. So, as many of you may know if you've watched my previous videos, I like to share some of the ridiculous practical jokes and general antics that I used to get up to. And over the summer holidays and basically a lot of school holidays, because my mum and dad would be working, I spent a lot of that time at my nan and granddad's house. And in their garden, there were two trees that, they were basically a huge part of my daily life almost when I was growing up, as there was a little tree house in them, and there was all sorts of branches and that. I used to climb up and jump out of them onto the lawn, and they're just the classic sort of old style childhood that you would expect before everybody had iPads in every pocket and so on. And really, these trees, because their garden is on sort of one of the main routes up into Oswestry town centre for a lot of the sort of urban area and the housing areas of Oswestry, these trees, when they were there, were somewhere that were known sort of locally, and because they used to live by an old shop as well, it was generally a known sort of place, and these trees would be somewhere that people would run and shelter if it started raining while they were on their way up and down from town. And I'd be up in the trees sometimes making cat noises and all sorts of random stuff, but we'll not get too distracted. And basically the fact that these trees in their garden was in such a public place helped to add a bit of realism to this letter that I created. Before we actually get into the letter as well, I want to say that because this was all done in 2002, before computers and technology were so completely prevalent, the fact that this was just a computer written and printed letter made it seem a lot more official just from that very nature, before you even consider anything else. Basically, let's stop witching on and actually get in and see the letter that I sent to my granddad when my nan and granddad finally decided that it was time for these trees that were getting pretty big and out of control to finally be cut down and removed. Now, I've got my glasses here, which are £1.99 specials, so I'm sure you can imagine that for less than £2 these are the greatest glasses in the world. Sarcasm. So please forgive me as well if I put these on. Oh, they're not looking too bad, as they do get sat on and crushed in my bag and all sorts all over the place. Now, this was a letter, like I say, about 2 days into the trees being cut. There was about a week pause while people were doing other jobs to come back with a trailer and stuff to get the really big parts of the trees out, which gave me just enough time to create this letter here, which claims to be from, and I better just cover up a phone number because we'll get to it in a minute, but it might still be an active number. Now, this was the letter that I sent to my nan and granddad's house. My nan was in on the joke so that she could sort of do damage control and encourage it to be taken seriously. And you'll also enjoy, if we just look at this again, we've got that wonderful Microsoft Paint created logo there. Now, this is the letter, after starting to cut these trees down in a very public place, that my granddad received. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Vaughan, we, the National Tree Society, have had notification from the Oswestry Borough Council on the 25th of June that you had started to cut down 2 fir trees. We are told that the trees have been a part of your garden for over 20 years and you are therefore liable to be prosecuted under the Tree Preservation Act. If you wish to continue cutting down your trees, then you need to apply for planning permission to avoid being prosecuted. This process will take around 3 to 4 weeks. We would also like to talk to you about your actions, as breaking the Tree Preservation Act can be punished with fines up to and including £15,000. Please phone us as soon as possible on the phone number below. Signed, S. Jones, Chairman of the National Tree Society, and then it includes the phone number, which I don't know why I got this phone number of all of them, which was literally the HM Revenue and Customs phone number. So anyway, post this, it all goes through the post as you would expect. Say this is dated, the letter itself is dated the 28th of June here. The post stamp is the 1st of July, yeah, June, July, flipping heck, couldn't remember which order the months went in then. So yeah, 1st of July 2002 at 11 minutes past 7 p.m. How fascinating. It says 07, but then got PM, saying it's 7 in the morning, but at night. Anyway, that's a complete distraction. So, anyway, let's get back on track here. I'm walking up to school, and as I had to pass, like I say, because of where my nan and granddad's house was located, I had to pass it when I was going up to school. So I had call in there in the morning just for 10 minutes, and brilliantly, get there one morning to find absolute panic, and my granddad's sort of pacing around and my nan's just looking at me and sort of like giving me the nod once again. Excellent to have somebody on board, an insider. So he's like, yeah, look at this, and very stressed, and I'll say not in the most calm of moods and minds at that point. Hello Grandad, thank you for tuning in. So, I get given this letter, and I'm just in this thing of, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't give it away, don't give it away. So, as my granddad's sort of pacing around and wondering what to do, and because it's still very early in the morning, I mean, it must probably be like something to 8 in the morning maybe, if I was on my way to school, and so he hadn't phoned up or anything like that. He's just said, well, just gonna have to leave him now. And these mannerisms that I start to do when I do my granddad impression, for anybody in the family watching this may appreciate it more, but there's a lot of pacing around, a lot of, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, £15,000, and a lot of sort of sentences that drifted off into nothing. And as he left the room, my nan said the immortal lines, which even to this very day she still stands by, of, you know, I thought I was going to have a heart attack on my hands when he was reading it. And even to this day, the panic and the sort of immediate response and reaction to getting a letter as official as it could seem back then, like I say, before computers and printing stuff off computers was a standard practice through everything, it definitely had the impact that was intended, a little bit over the top, I would say. And after seeing the general panic, I then sort of, well, had to go to school and enjoy a day of school telling all my friends of, oh, you'll never guess what I've done, oh, guess what? And so, as the day wore on though, because of my nan's information on how extreme the reaction and panic had been, I started to feel really guilty about it. And so then I thought, I'm going to have to tell him, because normally, I mean, in my family, when we've done this sort of thing before, every few years there used to be a phase where something like this would happen. So normally we would allow it to go on for a few weeks, and there's been ridiculous incidents which I'll get into in other occasions where I've hidden ladders and items out of the garage and stuff while they've been on holiday, and then had me granddad going round to the neighbours asking if they'd taken his ladder, and just bizarre stuff like that. Again, don't ask. A very weird background that I've got in many respects. So when I finally get back to their house after I've been to school, I'm like, yeah, I've just got to own up. But I don't do it straight away, because I then obviously go in to find all the usual, like the panic and that still going on from the morning. While I've been at school, my granddad had actually phoned up Customs and Excise, or whichever phone number this was, and said, oh, I've got a letter off you about cutting me trees down. To which the people on the other end of the phone like, I beg your pardon. And then they obviously like, sorry, that's nothing to do with us. Don't know what you're talking about, mate. And on that note, that makes him even more sort of confused and panicking even more, because he can't get in touch with the people who are saying that he might get fined £15,000, which then, in the end, I just had to be like, well, there's a funny thing about this letter. Yeah, I printed it out the other week, and ultimately, it was definitely one of those moments where I think the sheer relief overcame any of the other emotions of rage, of oh, what on earth is going on? You watch your back, I'll have you, and so on like that. And yeah, that brings to the, well, that really does bring us to the end of the story. I wish that there was more of a big sort of grand finale to this tale, rather than it sort of whimpering out with, yeah, I just had to own up. But I hope you've enjoyed that random talk and that random moment of my life, way back, like I say, over 13 years ago now. Unbelievable how the time has gone, and how things like this still happen every now and then, but I can't give too much away because that is for another video. Until the next time, I'll wrap things up and say thank you so much for tuning in. Check out my other videos for proper boat life and scenery and getting in the great outdoors on boats, bikes, kayaks and all that sort of stuff. Oh, just as we end this video, we've got a boat going past, so better speak a bit more quickly. Feel free, as always, to add me on Facebook and Twitter, like the Facebook page for see loads of scenery and boaty stuff in general. And of course, until the next time, please do consider checking out my books for a lot more wittering on about boats and stuff. Until the next time now, have an absolutely fantastic day. Oh, I'm wobbling all over the place here. Have a fantastic day. Keep it childhood prank worthy, keep it boat worthy, and of course, farewell.